Good evening and welcome to the summer series of the Same Old Arsenal podcast. Episode 1 for me, but not for the Same Old Arsenal, which I'll talk about in a moment. But episode 1 for me, and what a guest I have! My podcast brother is back, and I'm so excited that I could just sit and talk to you all night, Mr. Kevin Campbell. Welcome to the
How you
podcast.
doing? You're right. Listen, PG, it's been a while. Thanks for having me on as always. Whenever we can, we know our schedules are busy, especially mine having three teams in the Premier League. But it's a pleasure to come on. Pleasure for all the people in chat. Thanks for joining us, and I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, it's just weird. Let's just do some introductions. For the people that have watched this pod, I didn't know that for quite a few years, Kev and I podded together. We podded together. So this is really strange. A, that I'm hosting you. It is so
Yes,
bizarre. And the fact that it just feels like you were back on our show yesterday. So I love it. I love that Mr. Super Kevin Campbell is here and I want to sing your song. So, to everybody in the chat room, he is a very good friend of mine, not just podcasts.
for
Um,
years.
for
It
years now,
way
it's
before
so weird.
podcasts come
Oh
out.
my God, it's just like so weird that, for everybody that's older and me and you are the same age, which is bizarre. I mean, a lot of people are a lot younger in the chat room, I think that when Kevin was playing over the Arsenal at Highbury, I was sitting in the East Stand being a stroppy teenager, young
And I
Kev,
could
wasn't
hear her
I?
cursing me.
So to everyone in the chat room, thank you. Look at this, P. Everyone loves you. I was going to call you PG. Now, let me explain something else as well. I never called myself PG, ever. I've always Princess Guna or Amanda. But this man started the PG revolution. It's not me, honestly,
Yeah.
wasn't it? It was you.
PG tips, you know. But PG tips was really your style of the way you conducted yourself on online, the way you were on here. You're giving tips out. You got a good knowledge of football, and you don't suffer fools. So that's
No,
why
I
I called
don't.
you PG tips. But obviously because of the T, the old PG tips, it stuck, didn't it? You know.
Look at this, Super Casey. Everyone loves having you here. So, do you know what? This summer series is going to be me talking to lots of different people, ex-footballers, fans, different podcasts. We've got the Gay Gooners coming on. I'm going to have girls on here, and my family are going to come on. But what a place! What a wonderful start that I've got you on. And I don't have you for long because you're busy tonight.
Well,
So
we've got a lot to cover.
we have. I don't even know where to start. But first of all, I want to talk about what's happened recently. So, well done, West Ham, on winning the Europa Conference League final. Do you
Big
know
time.
what? I was rooting for them, Kev. I was really rooting. I live very close to the area of West
Yeah,
Ham. Most of my work colleagues are West Ham. We don't have bad feeling with West Ham, do we? Were you supporting them?
I was. I've got to say, I was supporting West Ham. I'd done a an appearance with Ray Parler. It was me, Ray Parler, Liam Brady, and Tony Cotty. And there were quite it was a gooner do, but there were a load of West Ham fans there as well. We're having a good chat, and we're saying, for West Ham, it's so important after last season to get over the line this season. You could see they were primed. They were really enjoying their European experience. But what a way to win it,
Oh my
PG.
God.
What an absolute way to win it. And you know what? The scenes that we saw, the way they celebrated, the players, the staff, the manager, the fan base. I'm really pleased for them. I am really pleased for them.
Do you know what's interesting? I had work colleagues. An ex-work colleague of mine was there, plus friends. So I was getting different videos, different pictures during the night. And I felt so happy for them because it's massive to win a trophy. And the fact they did it before Spurs. And we all know that West Ham and Arsenal do not like Spurs much. And that was great. The fact that Bowen does that in the last, I don't even know, the last few minutes, I actually was so pleased. It is weird not cheering for another team, but wanting that team to
Wanted them
win.
to win. We want them
Y-
to win. Do you know what? I wanted them to win. And it's not a matter. Listen, I'm not a West Ham fan. We're Gooners. But At the end of the day, listen, I've got no gripe with West Ham unless we're playing them. Do you know what I mean? Unless we're playing them. I wanted them to win. And I think the scenes were quite fitting. You know, a lot of people threw shade on this trophy,
It's a
didn't they?
trophy.
A lot of people threw shade on it. Oh, it's a tin pot cup. Do you know what? I wouldn't mind having one of them on the sideboard. I tell you what, PG.
I'm going to get to that because we could go back years of how we constantly say a trophy is much more important than top four. However, would you have swapped? Say United weren't in the top four and they won the League Cup this year. Would we have swapped the League Cup and come in fifth?
No,
No,
we
and I
done that
agree.
last. We finished fifth last season. I think for us in our development, PG, I think that's so important for us to be able to get in the top four and then start to build because we haven't been there in a while. And what happens with getting in the top four? All of a sudden, your Champions League, and you start to bring in a better level of player. That's what we've been missing. We've tried hard, but we haven't been able to get there. And all of a sudden, we get there. Yeah, it's not a trophy, but in the scheme of things for us, I think it's so important to be able to, one, rub shoulders with the big boys. Two, recruit properly. And I expect us to spend quite a bit of money. I do. And
Mm.
I expect us to clear the decks with a few as well.
No, I totally agree. And sorry to everyone in the chat room. You will get to ask Kevin questions. I am saving them all. Don't worry, I'm not going to ignore you. I'm saving, but there's a few things I want to go through first. The fact that you, young man, played for Arsenal 224 appearances and 60 goals. And yes, I didn't know that off the top of my head. I had to go and have a look at that one. Um, but
I
you know
don't
what,
even know
Kev?
that.
You didn't.
I
Kevin
don't. I
doesn't.
swear to you, I don't look at stats or anything. I was just so privileged to play for Arsenal, and as a fan to play for the club and then win
Oh,
with the clubs. Oh my god,
oh my God.
incredible,
So
incredible.
we West Ham have done that. United won the league trophy.
Hmm.
I'm talk to you about United because I know you live not far.
Yeah.
And then City win the treble. Now, I had a lot of City fans, friends of mine in Istanbul that I wished on well on the day, and I was very torn. I know you've met some of my Man City friends
Yes,
actually.
yes,
They were
yes.
all there. Now, I find it hard because as much as I'm pleased for them, to me, and I'm not talking about the allegations because they are just that allegations, the fact that they've spent nearly £1 billion and everything else that goes with the fact that they've done the treble this way, it is a. I don't want to say too much. We're live on a podcast. It's very hard for me because I know whatever I'm going to say. But what I'm trying to say is, Kev, I think it's tainted slightly. Do you understand what I mean by that?
Look, I understand what you mean because I know you tried to put the so-called allegations and stuff behind, but they're not exactly allegations, are they? They've been watched for a number of years, and there are some serious problems there, issues over a number of years. The problem is, though, you see, PG, for me,
Mm,
I wanted City to win. That I haven't got a problem with City winning. I haven't got a problem with that. The problem I have is with the Premier League. Why come out and say these things if you're not going to act? You might as well keep quiet. When you mention it, then you act. But they don't act, so it leaves an asterisk there, doesn't it? It does
yeah.
leave an asterisk there, and it's not. I was going to say it's not City's fault. It's not City's fault that there's an asterisk there because of the ineptitude of the Premier League. Shut your mouth until if you want them, if you want to go heavy on them, go heavy on them. But don't mention it, and then we're not going to see anything done.
And that's true. And the thing is, if this was us and I was a Man City fan, I would feel like that. Now, my friends who you've met have been going for 40, 50, well, 40 odd years.
Yeah,
So they've been in the lower tiers. And for those people, those fans,
it's an
over the
incredible dream,
moon.
isn't it?
It
It's
is.
an incredible
And
dream.
you can't deny the football. But those allegations actually ruined our season. And I'll tell you why. Up to then, they were playing okay. Now, everyone goes on about their finish to the season. I know this. But my friends were saying to me just before those allegations, we're very average. You're going to win this league. And I went, oh, whatever, we're not, we're not. When the allegations came out, one of them messaged me and went, "This is the best thing to happen to City. It's us against the world." And
Yep.
from that moment on, they did not stop. We then had Saliba injured, and the rest is history. Look, I'm going to talk about our season in a second, but I tainted as in like when United won it, it wasn't tainted. We really pushed them. Bergkamp penalty, all changes. They don't win the treble. We know that. Um, However, it they do play the most amazing football. It has been incredible to watch. You can't deny they're worthy winners. However, there is a little bit of tainted there. I do believe. Now, Alan Algar, friend of the show and friend of you
Yes.
as well,
Yeah, good lad.
sent
Good lad,
yep,
man.
sent me a tweet. And I said I'm going to read it out to you. So if you just give me 2 seconds, I'm going to find it right
Okay.
now. And he said to me, I want you to ask Kev this. Number one, no non Arsenal fans out of the UK even know about the Invincibles. It's not an achievement with global recognition. Number two, not one Chelsea United Liverpool City fan even speak about wanting to do it and wouldn't swap a Champions League for it. Number three, we didn't even lament 1991 as if huge. We enjoyed the title win. Now, his
Hmm.
argument is, would you rather have the treble or the Invincibles? And I thought, "Do you know what? I'm going to ask you that.
The treble or the invincible, the treble with a. Listen, I just think the going a season unbeaten is unique. It's so unique. I know a treble. Listen, Man United done it, and now City, their neighbours have done it. So it's not that unique. It can be done. It's the Pep's second in his career.
Yeah,
But there ain't many who have gone a season unbeaten. So give me that unbeaten one. And I know people don't talk about it around the world, but you know what? We got the gold trophy.
is yours
We got the
gold?
gold trophy. That will and listen, we're gonna have our time to build towards European winning the league again. We're gonna get our time because we're building. But that goal one is so hard to do.
To not
It's the
lose a
hardest of the
game.
lot. You can
I,
get lucky in the cup,
yeah,
but the league, you can't get lucky. You can't get lucky going unbeaten.
no,
You
I
have to be
agree.
on it.
Um, and I just want to go back to something about West Ham. I was very disappointed with the commentary, Kevin, when he went, "It's up for grabs now." Who the
Oh,
hell does he think he is using that? And I was a split second late because Carl mentioned it and went, "What did he say?" And I went, "He said it's up for grabs now." I said, "Well, what's he doing?" And as Carl said, that's a shame for West Ham because they don't have their tagline that we've had since 1989. Now, if you step back, me and you, we were both there. We were both in the crowd. Although you were part of the squad, I was in the crowd, obviously. If we step back and if we spoke about this game and we weren't Arsenal fans, it doesn't get as much credit as it deserves. We went to Liverpool to a fortress. That's all I'm going to say. It's like going to Man City
and having to
over
win
many
by two
years
clear goals.
and to win by two clear goals in their manner.
Last game of the
Yet
season.
we don't get enough credit for that. It's because it wasn't in the Premier League, Trev.
That's
It,
right.
it just the
Because
problem.
and and PG, this is what you got to understand. It's the Arsenal.
Yeah,
They're not going to give us any credit. They patted us on the back and said, "Well done, you won it there." But that should be lauded. But it wasn't. 91
no,
should be lauded, taking it back off Liverpool and losing only one game, conceding only 18 goals. No, was they don't give us our props. But you know what? We're Arsenal. We have to take it. But that just goes to show when we do win, we got to make sure we celebrate because nobody's going to give us any props.
oh, and we did celebrate in the ground when Reece Nelson scored in the 98th minute. I can tell you that came close to Mickey Thomas, that feeling, Trev. I think I went into shock. It was what, 30 odd years later, then when I was behind at Anfield, that goal, I couldn't speak. It was the electricity around that stadium, inside the stadium, sorry, was so unique. I'm not sure we'll ever experience that again in that way, unless we beat Tottenham in, I don't know, in
Oh, wait,
something.
listen. Here's the thing. Finally, the Emirates is starting to see really big moments in games. A title charge this season, it failed miserably at the end and disappointingly for us. But you know what? This Arsenal side under Mikel Arteta gave me some of the best moments I've had in the Premier League for 19 years. I've got to say, for 19 years. And what a team we've got. So many players on double figures. So many players doing better than we thought they would do. I
I'm
just think
coming
it's
to
been
that,
yeah,
Kev.
I know, but I'm just working it round
I
to
know you're
say
getting there because I do
these
want to talk about the fact that you've had to struggle as well with Forest and Everton being down there. For people that don't know, and I'm sure you do, Kev played a major part in keeping Everton up, and Forest and West Brom. And I never say this right, Trabzonspor.
bang on,
Come on,
Trabzonspor,
that is impressive.
bang on, bang on,
We're going to
and
talk about
and,
Everton
and I was on loan at Leicester, so you
and
can imagine.
Leicester. Um, too much, and the stress of it. But we're going to talk about Nottingham Forest, and we're going to apparently I'm not allowed to say Notts Forest. I did that.
Nottingham,
No,
they don't
I
like
did
Nottingham.
it on a Nottingham Forest podcast once, and although everyone loved me, apparently they got so many people saying, "Does she not know not to call them Notts Forest?" I really apologise. I didn't. I call them Notts Forest. Now I call them Nottingham Forest. Anyway, moving on
See,
from that.
Notts County is the other team. Notts County is
That's
Notts.
right. I've
Yeah,
learned they were very nice to me in the end, but
good.
we'll talk about that in a minute. So I wanted to go back to this season. Um, and I wanted to talk to you about something that, is being thrown at us constantly, and I'm constantly fighting people. Did we bottle it, or did we just run out of steam and the injuries and we didn't have a strong enough squad?
Well, we didn't have a strong enough squad, that's for sure. I think we knew that anyway. We were going full pelt with really 14 players, but we had to play our best 11 in as many games as we could. We had some help. We did get some help in January, which Trossard and stuff came in, and I thought Jorginho. I thought they done pretty well to help us. But as you well know, PG, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And when it really comes down to the end, when the big pressure's on, however you want to call it, people could call it bottling it. People could call it, we lost energy. Whatever you want to call it, we're at the same spot. We couldn't get the job done, and I just think, obviously, there were injuries. There was a certain injury to Saliba, which didn't help. But I just thought Manchester City, when they picked their pace up, it was incredible. For us to win it, I'm sure we would have had to have beaten them at one stage. We played them twice. We didn't beat them. They beat us at home and away. So, the better in the end, the better team won. The more experienced team, the better team. But I'm expecting this Arsenal boys, just like last season, to go away, lick their wounds, and come back and have that mindset, add additions in, and go for it again this season, because now they know the course and distance. Before they didn't know the course and distance. Now they do. And we've got to learn to be a bit more flexible with our squad, because now there's Champions League. They know how to manage the Champions League and the league and all these cups. You know, again, that's going to be another thing for us. But with a better squad, with more quality players, PG, I'll be honest with you, we have to go for it. We have to go for everything.
I think it's going to be tougher this year because where we were hoping for top four and ending fourth or even third would have been incredible. To go through the whole season like that and watch the amazing football like that, the pressure's massively on. So I want you to talk to me about what you would mark the team out of 10 and Arteta out of 10.
I think Arteta gets a this season. He gets a 8.5.
Mm.
I thought he done a really good job, and as I said, getting into a title challenge where in the end we failed, but as I said, whatever you call it, run out of steam, bottled it. I don't care what you say. We're still at the same spot. We didn't get the job done. I think Arteta gets an 8.5, and I think the team gets 8.5 as well. Um, Team gets 8.5 because we didn't expect it. We definitely didn't expect it. They showed so much grit and determination, and winning, coming from behind in games, and just you know giving us fans the atmosphere at the Emirates. I've never heard the Emirates like that. Never heard the Emirates like that. So we're starting to get an identity. We're starting to get a connection between the team and the fans, and that's down to the manager and the players and everyone. So I thought the fans get a 10. I thought the fans were absolutely incredible this season. But as we know, it's going to take some stopping. The yardstick keeps getting moved because that City squad, hopefully they're going to lose a few players because after winning a treble, I'm hoping that a few of the players say, I'm done here. So, we might be able to get a little bit closer. Um, but, what a great achievement it will be to be able to pit them to a title. But it's going to be tough. We know that. Pressure's pressure, but we know what we got to do.
But in your playing days, you didn't have City. You had Liverpool, but they weren't bankrolled by a nation state, as I say. They. It was a level playing field until Abramovich walked in. I said the day he walked in, he ruined football. It's never going to be like this. It's going to be even harder. Seriously, City can just go and buy more players, and it's a shame. However, it proves how well we did this season.
100%.
And let's just talk about the Emirates. So I think the atmosphere improved the season before last towards the end. The away fans had really picked up the season before last, did not stop singing even when we were losing. And then it brought that atmosphere into the Emirates. The Ashburn Army have tried their best. They've been
I think
brilliant,
they've been brilliant. Yeah.
absolutely brilliant. Love it, except the drum. However, I'm not going down Drumgate.
Stop molding you.
I know. I get drums thrown at me on Twitter. It's quite funny. I think the Ashburton Army are absolutely phenomenal for what they're doing in the clock end. The clock end is so loud, Kev. It's fantastic. The East Stand behind me now. The East Stand upper. We're all singing. You got
Yeah.
the North. It is electric. And the fact that, and we were just talking about this off air, what they've only painted outside, it makes it so enjoyable just to have a walk round and look at the artwork. And my heart goes every time I see you on the Highbury artwork
Yeah.
because I just honestly, Carl says, do we have to stand at this every time we come to the Emirates? I go, yeah, but look, there's Kev. The Kev's there, and it's Highbury and George Graham, and I go to it, and everyone's taking pictures, but of every piece of artwork, and then up comes the mural. Now, I'm still in total shock that I'm on the mural. It was absolutely the most incredible honour. And Kev, when I saw it live last week, my heart went. I've seen pictures, but to actually see it, you're
In the
round the
flesh.
other side of the stadium
Yeah.
to
I'm
me.
the other side. Yeah.
I'll never, I think that's got to be one of the most special things ever. So, what Arsenal have done, have reconnected all the fans, the players reconnected completely.
Likeable
Erdegaard,
players as well. Likeable players.
uh, Erdegaard FaceTiming fans on a train on the way home.
Fantastic.
Now that leads me into Chris's next show on Wednesday night. Akil, who Erdegaard FaceTimed, is on our show Wednesday night with Trevor and another fantastic gooner, Merv Deneen. They're on 7:30 on Wednesday evening. I'll talk about that later, but Akil's a really good friend of mine as well. And I just messaged him. I went, what the heck? What, Erdegaard FaceTime? It's like amazing. So that connection with the beautiful artwork, with the the inside electricity. Arteta loves us, and I mean proper loves us.
Mm,
The players love us, absolutely love us. So I was invited to the kit launch,
mhm.
and Saka, the Saka thing, when he was
Yeah,
standing in the crowd. And when he walked past us, I just had to say something. I said, Saka, and he looked at me and I went, we love you. Like he was down the other end of the row. I really should have gone and shook his hand. He picked up the mic at the bottom of the stadium, at the bottom of the stand, Kev, and he told us how much he loved us. It was impromptu. It wasn't part of it. He wasn't even supposed to do it. But yet he said, we'll see you all on Sunday. Thank you for everything. We love you all. My heart went. This was a Monday morning, by the way. I was standing in a cold clock end and I just thought, this is it. This is what we've wanted, Kev. We had this in the 80s with George Graham. We had it all when you lot were hanging out the windows,
yeah,
singing. I met you at the Christmas do when I was
yeah,
18.
yeah.
We
We'd
haven't had that
mingle,
for
we'd mingle, we'd do. There'd be so
absolutely.
many gigs and do's where the players and the fans could mingle. Um, for me, I think there's a lot of times where fans can complain about the club for not doing things right. I think the club have got it right from the atmosphere in the stadium, from the players, from the artwork, from everything connected with Arsenal. I think obviously there's a few players that we need in order to challenge that City lot, but I think the fundamentals are in place, the foundations in place. And you've got to give credit to Arsenal because if you remember, there was infighting a few years ago. There was all sorts. What start of the was it last season where we after 3 games we were bottom? There was murders going on. But look where we've come. We've settled down. We've got a team, and now we've got the opportunity to really inject some money and buy some quality players. And a lot of people ask me about, the owners. Are the owners going to invest? I said, now we're going to find out. I think the owners are fully bought in. I I, I had a good conversation with Josh Kroenke at one of the games, and they're in it for the long haul. They're in it to win it. So I think Arsenal are going to go big. I really do.
I do. And I'm getting to the questions because you've got so many and we don't have you for very long. So I'm just going to pick random ones. Right. Guns and Yellow Ribbons. They're going to be on the show 2 weeks tonight. Hilsey and Fergus. Thank you for joining me, Fergus and Kev. Question. Do you think if Saliba stayed fit, we would have pushed on to win the title? If not, why?
No, I don't think it. I don't think we would have won the title solely because don't have the experience, and you've got to understand and know how to. I think it might have been a bit closer. That's for sure. It might have been a bit closer, um, but I don't think we would have won it. I wanted us to win it so bad. I was desperate for us to win it.
Mm,
But I just think Manchester City, they've got all the momentum. They picked it up, and unfortunately, we just couldn't get it done.
Okay, thank you. Carl Stark, welcome to the show. Question. Is running out of steam 2 seasons in a row at the same point a worrying trend or just bad luck?
No, it's not. It's not really running out of steam. The same point because going for top four and going for a title is two different feelings. Let me tell you.
Mm,
I think the team learned from the previous season, but you look at the points tally. The points tally was huge,
mm,
was huge. But again, you're going up against a team like City, who were used to late 80s, 90s, even 100 points. So that's the yardstick, and we're not used to it. Now we're starting to get yardstick. You're used to it. The players are starting to understand what it takes. So I don't think it's worrying. I think it's progress because we're at different levels now.
okay, thank you. Hi, David. Welcome to the show. Hi, and great to catch both you two legends. Question for Kev. Does he believe we're going to add a striker or should we move on Eddie and give Balogun a proper chance?
I can't see Eddie moving on. I can see Balogun leaving. Balogun's now had the opportunity to play regularly. Um, what's funny for me is everyone's quick to want to throw Eddie away. Eddie's the one who kept us in it. When
Yeah.
Jesus went down, Eddie's the one who
Yeah.
kept us going. So has Balogun done that? No, he hasn't done that. He's done it in France, which is great. But how do we know Balogun could carry the team? So we don't. I don't think Balogun's going to stay around. I think we do a bit of business, bring some money in to build the coffers up for bringing more players in because I think we do. Are we going to sign a striker? I think we could, but I don't think Mikel Arteta is thinking that way fully yet. I think he's going to be looking at the midfield and defence to strengthen because I think that's where we lost it. We still scored goals. We still looked strong. If you're out of the game, PG, you're not going to get a chance.
No.
And we've got to be in the games to nick it 1-0. 1-0 to the Arsenal would have done us in a few of those games. But we couldn't stop. We couldn't shut the back door. So I think midfield and defence is where he's going to prioritise. And maybe an attacking midfielder, stroke winger.
I love Jesus. I hope he does it. Okay, question. If we sign Declan Rice, what does Kevin think he'd bring to the side and how important could signing be? There's a lot of talk about Declan Rice, isn't there? Then again, I saw a video of him this morning saying, no, I'm staying at West Ham. But maybe that's all talk because he has to say that. Who knows?
Well, listen, if Declan Rice comes to Arsenal, we've got a midfielder who not only can he do box to box, he could play the holding role in midfield, he could play the number 8, but he can be a destroyer as well. He can go after people and hunt them down. We haven't had a midfielder like that since probably Vieira, who
Yeah.
could do that, go and hunt people down, nick the ball off from high up and go and score or create. He's that good a player, and he could also play centre back. Believe it or not, that's where he started, centre back. So having a player like that who is real quality, who we can bring in, I think would be ideal. People say, yeah, 100 million, 100 million. If you get him for 10 years, that's 10 million a season. I'll take that, PG. I'll be honest with you.
Do you
10
know what
million a season's cheap.
makes me laugh when go, oh, he's not worth it. It's not your money. Don't worry about it. It's
Just
not
like
your
Ben
money.
White wasn't worth 50 million. He
Yeah,
played right back, was unbelievable this season.
it
So,
is funny. Right, a little bit
it's
of a controversial one here from Phil Macker. Is it true Andy Cole was sold because George thought you were better?
well, I was playing, so I'd already won a title, so I was in the team. So I don't know whether he sold because George Graham thought I was better, but the bottom line is if you're Andy Cole, you have to wait for your turn, don't you? And
Yeah,
maybe he didn't want to wait for his turn, so he took a step down, went to Bristol, and then the rest was history. So that's just the way
absolutely.
it goes.
Sometimes you have to take a step down to come up, and
Exactly,
I'm
and that's what
sure he's
happened
had
with
a.
him, and he done had a great career, didn't he? So
Oh, didn't he just?
yeah.
Okay, Melvin Marks. Hello, Uncle Melv. If we would have held on, would this be a bigger achievement than the Invincibles feat? By the way, he thinks it would have been.
Um, Not necessarily, no, because winning a title is massive, but winning a title being invincible is different. let's let's be honest. It would have been an incredible achievement, and in some quarters said it maybe could have eclipsed 89, which I don't think so. But if we'd have done it, it would have been sweet. Melvin, the problem is we didn't do it, and it
Yeah.
would have been good, but we didn't. So hey.
Okay. So many lovely questions. Robert Stevens. When Arteta spoke about bringing back the DNA to Arsenal, when he first took over, do you think he was talking about the fan base? And if so, what does he have to do next?
I think the DNA of Arsenal was the players and the way when you cross that white line. Because if the fans know the players are giving it their all, the fans stay with them. And that's what
Mm,
we've seen. We've seen the fans as I said, the fans have been a 10 plus because they've been incredible. But it's only because what they're seeing on the pitch has been pleasing to them and they know that the boys are putting their lot in. So what do we have to do next? I think everybody realizes what we have to do next. We've got to bring in quality players to complement what we've already got to get better as a squad. And what we want to be able to do is, whether it's Carabao Cup or Champions League, if you could change that team, the team's going to be just as strong no matter what team you pick. I think that's the next stage.
Mm, yeah. These fantastic questions. Guns and yellow ribbons again. KC, who had the better season? Arsenal getting second, Man U getting third, and a cup, or even West Ham United getting a European trophy and staying up?
Man U and West Ham had better seasons than us, but our season was still positive. Because at the end of the day, PG, we've discussed it plenty of times. When it comes to the team picture at the next season, and you've got that bit of silverware in front of you, that shows you've been successful. The fact we're going into the Champions League now is great for our foundation, great for Saka and all the guys there, Martinelli. These guys now are going to be on that Champions League stage, which is
Yeah.
what we needed to bring better players in. But bottom line is silverware. You've got to win silverware. And that's what we've got to do next season. I don't care whether it's a Carabao Cup, FA Cup, League, or Champions League. I don't care. Bring it on. I want to win.
It's true. I think the question could be who had the most enjoyable season? It would have
Oh, we
been
had the most enjoyable
us
season.
out of that lot.
Yeah, we had the most.
However,
But go on.
winning a trophy, Kevin,
But
we've
it
always
is
said it.
so important. It is. It really is.
Let's get a few more questions in. Okay. More than a wheelchair. Hello, welcome back to the show. I haven't seen you for a while. Question, Kev. Whatever happened to Ian Selly as a young gun? I always liked him.
Yeah, Sally. I'm on social media with Sales at the minute, chatting to Sales. But obviously, when I left, I think Sales was still there when I left. I left in what, 95. I think Sales was still there. So under Bruce Rioch and stuff, I'm not too sure what. I think things went a bit pear shaped on the inside of the club until Wenger came in, and stuff like that. So, but Sales is still about. Ninja, we called him because he was so quiet. So
He
he's still
looked
about.
quiet, actually.
He was quiet, but he was devilish in the tackle. He was a good player. Sales.
Right. Emerson Allen Cozier. Hi, Emerson. Question for Kevin. Which of last season under 21 squad will make their debut for the first team this season coming? Good question.
I'm not sure. We saw Wanyeri make his debut last season, didn't we? And we're not sure whether he's even gonna be at the club because everyone could try and prize him away. Um, First team, I'm not too sure if anyone's going to make their debut this season,
Okay.
solely because it's Champions League, and when you have a deep enough squad or bigger squad, the likes of maybe an Emil Smith Rowe, they're the ones who get to play in the Carabao Cup, etc. And what you always try and do, you see Man City do it, they just stack the bench with the first team players if they're needed. That's what they do. So if ever they're in a spot of bother, they bring on certain players and they bring first team players and they bring them on. That's what we have to do because we have to look to win trophies. So I think it's going to get a little bit harder for the under 21s, if I'm honest with you, unless somebody really gets outstanding. But I'm just not so sure at this moment in time because we've moved another level now, being in the Champions League.
Mm, yeah. It's more pressure this year than last season.
Exactly.
Okay. Hi, Patrice. Patrice from Zambia. Hello. Hi, Super Kev. Name 4 signings that will make us challenge for the title next season. You know how much I hate all this chat, don't you? All this
I know.
transfer, you know it, but I'm
I
gonna
know,
do
but
it
but
because
signings are
everyone.
something that we have to do anyway.
Yep.
You know, the free, if we can get them, is Rice, Caicedo, and probably I don't know what's happening with him, but if Gundogan can come in,
Oh, oh,
I think that guy's a special talent. I think he's another
yeah.
captain. He's someone who is decisive in big moments. I think that would be great. And I like that lad at PSV Simons. I thought he was excellent. Could play up top. He could play wide. He could play midfield. I thought he was excellent. Um, defensively, I still think maybe we need one that Gahey at Palace. I like him. I think he's done really well for Palace. And somebody like him as an understudy to Gabriel or whatever, I think that will be important for us. Um, Listen, we need minimum 6 players. We do.
Wow. And do you
We
think we'll
do.
get 6?
No.
No,
I
not one.
think, will we get 6? Actually, I think we could get 6, but it might not be the 6 starters that we need. We might get
Yeah.
3 starters and 3 squad players, but I still think we need 6 starters to really beef this squad up.
Okay, I'm going to do a couple more, and then we're going to talk about the relegation that we've all, you struggled with. Let's go to Leeds Gunner. Quite a nice question, Leeds Gunner. Can Ben White play the John Stones role if we bring in a new right back, or if Tomiyasu regains his place?
Um, I don't want John Stone. I don't want Ben White playing no John Stones role. I think what we've got to do is play the right players in their right position. And if we've got Jorginho, Partey, Rice, Caicedo, Gundogan, Erdegaard, Smith Rowe, I'll take my chances with that 7. Big time, I'll take my chances. I know we might not get them all, but I want midfielders to play in there. I want Arsenal to really improve. And I don't want no opportunity for anybody to turn around and say, what's Ben White doing in midfield? No, we
Yeah,
don't need that. We don't need that. We need proper midfielders in that midfield.
absolutely. And one lovely question, because we did just speak about this. Question for Kevin. Kevin, what's it like? What's it feel like to be on the stadium? How much of an honour that Amanda is on there too? Me, by the way.
Well, Carl, I've got to be honest with you. Does it take a little bit of the shine off it that Amanda's on there? No, it doesn't. I think it's an honour for us all to be so connected with the club for all these years. Um, to have a place at the Emirates, obviously from Highbury, to have a place at the Emirates, I think is special. So we all feel it differently at times. I'm not there every week, but I am there every week now because I'm on the stadium. So again, this is something, Carl, I think Arsenal have got right. And to incorporate the fans in there as well, I think is special.
Absolutely. Kev, thank you for answering everybody's questions. And thank you. We had so many questions that unfortunately Kevin's going to have to come back
Of
and
course, I'm going to
do a
have to.
Q&A. He answers so fantastically. But we alluded to the fact that your other teams, Nottingham Forest and Everton, struggled. And bearing in mind, I knew we were going to talk about this. I invited someone on that would love to discuss Everton with you. So welcome to the show, Bazza from Toffee TV. So we're going to have a little bit of an Everton moment now, Kev.
Hello, Baz.
Kev, how are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. I'm good.
So hello, darling. How are you? You good?
I'm all right, yeah. I've been training the kids. I'm absolutely sweating, but apart from that, it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all
It's a
good.
little bit hot in this country.
It
Welcome
is a
to
bit
the Same Old Arsenal podcast. And I am pleased to say that Everton stayed up. Now, let me just caveat this. I'm pleased Everton stayed up for you, Alan, and a few of my other toffee mates. For Arsenal, it's not so good. We never do well at Goodison Park. But I would have known that Kev would have been very upset if Everton would have been relegated. And no word of a lie, when our match finished against Wolves, I was watching with my cousin and Carl the last few minutes of your game and I was getting stressed because if you would have drawn, you'd have gone down. So, Kev, tell everyone what Everton mean to you, and then I'll come to Bazza.
Well, I've often said this. If Arsenal are my oxygen, I've supported Arsenal all my life, but Everton are in my heart, big time. And players, it takes a lot to say a club is in your heart when you support another team. But the connection I got with Everton from day one has just been immense. And the feeling is still there to this day. It has never changed. And I walked the street up to the ground before the game, and the crowd was singing and everything like that, singing my name. It was incredible. The atmosphere, I've got to say, the atmosphere was unbelievable. And I've got to say this, and Baz will probably back me up. I've never heard a louder stadium. Never heard a
Absolutely.
louder stadium than when the Corre scored.
Mm.
It was wow. It blew the roof off. So Everton means so much to me. They're part of me. They're in my blood. They're in my heart. And I always get the questions, don't I? When Arsenal play Everton, who do you want to win? Who do you want to win? I don't care. I don't care on that one. Everton seem to have a sign over Arsenal at Goodison. Why?
Mm.
Because Everton are still a big club, massive club, and it means a lot to play against Arsenal and the big boys. It does.
It's just so strange because I know you want Arsenal to beat Everton because you're a gooner. However, I know Everton mean a lot to you. So I'm going to say that for a start. Second of all, I've never been in the situation, thank the Lord, where I've had to go to the last match of the season after an absolute awful season and not to know if Arsenal were going to go down. I honestly don't think, Kev, I could have coped. Not at my age. Not now. I
You
don't
don't.
think
You
I
don't
could have coped.
trust me on this one. You do not want to be in it. And those long-suffering Everton fans, Baz can explain it better than I can.
Go on,
But
Baz.
you know what I mean? It's tragic what's happened to that football club.
Yeah, so interestingly, I'm just going to put a question from Phil. Everton seem like a car crash of a club. What's going on? What's going on to change things at the moment? So let's ask Baz. How's the season been, Baz?
You know how it's been. I come on here before, and we've had a couple of chats, haven't we? We had the chat before we beat you at Goodison.
Yep.
Customary Everton home win against Arsenal. And then we had the chat before the customary Arsenal home win against Everton. So, that's the way it is. No, it's been a disgrace, as Kev has said. It's a club our size, regardless of winning anything, certainly should never be in a position where it could be leaving the Premier League, not after the money we've spent. But it's actually a very interesting day for me to come on because, as Phil's saying, what's going on to change it? Everton's CEO has just left the football club today, which
Oh,
a
I
lot
didn't
of
know.
people, 3 board members have gone at 5:00 today, which is a big, it's a big deal. And we're expecting Bill Kenwright to leave the football club as well in the next 48 hours. So big changes, needed it. About time Farhad Moshiri started getting his act together and making the changes. And hopefully from here we'll see a little bit of a different Everton, but it's going to be small steps, as Kev knows. It's got to be. We can't. I think where Everton have gone wrong is they tried to do things far too quickly without any real plan. And there is a thing going around Everton. You could understand now why Arsenal fought so hard to keep Usmanov and Moshiri out the boardroom, because it's been a bit of a mad one for us. But we've just got to kind of wipe the slate clean now and see what happens from here. But it's the start, and like you say, it's quite a big day for Everton today.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I never experienced it before. I don't ever want to go
Stop
through it.
crowing. Stop
I'm
crowing.
not. I promise.
Amanda, we know you've never experienced it. I don't want to ever experience it again.
But I'm
It's
just
horrible.
trying to explain to the people
No,
on
no.
audio as well that are not watching that I constantly text you and Alan, didn't I?
Yeah,
I
you did.
constantly stayed in contact.
You were sending me voice notes saying I'm praying for you, come on, and everything. I couldn't even open them. I was terrified.
Yeah, on the last day especially, my heart was with you as a football fan, because if you would have been a Spurs fan, obviously not so much so, of course, obviously. However, when you've got friends at different clubs that are not rivals with your club,
all right, noted.
All right.
One day it will be.
Were you know what, for people that don't know, you were a massive club in the 80s. I still see Everton as as a very big club. Unfortunately, you've had, as the city lot say, the noisy neighbours across the road. You know, you can't deny their history, and everything they've done has been fantastic. Not easy for the Toffees, absolutely not. It's like Arsenal with the Invincibles. It's not easy for Tottenham, even though they'd never admit that. But Kev, talk to well, actually, Barry, you do it. Bazza, you talk to everyone about what Kevin means to you.
Nothing. He's a gunner. We've got nothing to do with him. Now,
I-
listen, Kev, Super Kev, Evertonians love him. Absolutely love him. And you know, he's been far too long since he's been on our channel, by the way. It's been far
Don't get
too
invited anymore.
No, you never look at your messages. That's why I'm getting.
Shut up! You never invite me anymore, Baz.
Stop it.
Okay, boys, I have
Now,
to
listen,
say.
Listen, Kev means a lot to so many Evertonians, to so many people. Things like our first black captain and things like that. He's etched in our history, kept us up. We were gone. Like, for anyone who doesn't know, Kev come in. You think this season was bad? Well, that's what it was like. And this season we didn't have a talisman. And we didn't have one until we got Kev back in 99. He came in and got 9 goals in 8 games and kept us up. And from then, he could have done whatever he wanted because he'd kept our football club in the league. He got until a couple of years ago, he was the last player to score the winner in a Merseyside derby at Anfield. You know, and he kept telling me, I want that record gone. I want that record gone. And it eventually went. And
hey, Baz, hold on. Baz, I've got to say a caveat there.
Go on.
Somebody came up to me and said on the last game of the season day, you've still got that record. I said, I haven't. It's gone. He said, but you done it when the stadium was full.
True.
So,
I mean, we can't let Copites think that. But that is actually a fact. You did it when it was difficult. You did it when it was much more difficult. So no, he genuinely means loads. So, well, yeah, people don't sing the name of a player if they haven't took him to the heart. He'll always be. He knows. He doesn't need me to big him up. He knows the script, and yeah, fantastic for one of our number 9s, and a huge presence, a huge character, which Evertonians still love today. He's always welcome at Goodison, and it's a pity we didn't have him to come and save us the last 9 games this year. It might have been an easier ride. I mightn't have been walking into that stadium saying to me, lad, we're walking in as a fan of a Premier League club, and we don't know what we won't be walking out in the Championship. And he's only 12, bless him. So, but we were all right. He was like, Dad, we'll be fine. We'll be fine.
And you know what? Listening to you makes me more annoyed with all the idiots I argue with on Twitter about Arsenal bottling and Arsenal season and Arsenal that we should only be so grateful for what we've seen this season to what you've been through. And you know that we've been, absolutely above our game this season, Bazza. And I'm just wondering, how did you cope it? I'm so curious how you coped in the last 3 months. Was it just constantly there? Did you block it out? Did you go, we're going down, we're not going down? Were you constantly watching everyone around you? Because I remember Alan messaging me going, you need to beat West Ham. And it was like constant. And when we didn't beat West Ham, my first thought was, damn, we're going to lose the league. My second thought was, this isn't good for Everton. It was weird because I'm not an Everton fan. Everyone accuses me of being a Liverpool fan, which is bizarre. But I felt like
you
that.
Better so not be, or we're going to fall out.
No. Yeah. I don't support anybody.
No, I know. It is that. And you know what? To be honest, it was worse 12 months ago because we were almost like Leicester this year, only they didn't get out of it. We fell into something we hadn't remembered. It'd been quite a long time since Everton had struggled the way they had. Kev kept us up. Last time we were kind of in that mode. Last year, it was almost like, we'll be all right. And then all of a sudden, it was like, Kev, will we be all right? You know, and then this year, I don't know what from Kev will tell you better from his perspective, but for me, it was always there, but I was a lot calmer. It was almost like, well, we've brought this on ourselves because we didn't make the changes we needed. Yeah. So it was almost like an acceptance. But the worst thing, and I don't know, Kev can tell you from a player's point of view, the worst thing from a fan is when other teams are playing and you can't do anything about it. Yeah. So it's one thing Everton are on and you're focused on that game. And as a player, you're playing in it. But when the other teams are getting results and you're like sat at home and Everton aren't playing, you look and you go, oh my God, how have Leicester got a point at Newcastle when Newcastle are beating everyone? That kind of thing. How Leeds
have
win.
Southampton gone to Chelsea and won? You know,
Well,
it's
that,
like, what's going on?
How
hang
did
on.
Southampton
When
draw with us?
Southampton were 3-1 up at Arsenal, I was
Yeah.
Arsenal,
falling
yeah,
out
it's
with
like,
everyone. I was like, oh my God. Because I was expecting 7-0 that night to Arsenal.
You weren't the
yeah.
only ones.
Oh my God.
Let me
But
I
yeah,
tell
was
you.
pitchside, mate. Trust me, it wasn't great.
mate, I was running around the living room when Reece Nelson scored against Bournemouth in the 98th
Yeah.
minute, and I'm an Evertonian. I'm celebrating. And you know what the worst thing is, Amanda? Wanting Liverpool to win so many games at the end of the season. It felt dirty. It felt horrible. They're beating Leeds 6-1, and I'm like, okay, good result. They're beating Leicester 3-0, and I'm smiling when normally I'd be kicking the telly. You know, that was the worst thing about it. But we stayed up. It was great. It doesn't matter.
It is, and I totally understand. Kev, if you need to go, I totally understand.
Yeah, I do. But I just want to say one thing. I want to say something to Baz and say something to you. So, Baz, listen, we do know Everton's problems all come from when Richarlison goes and he doesn't get replaced.
100%.
You lose 12 goals out of Everton. How Everton stayed up this season, I tell you this much, PG, you lose a dozen goals and you do not replace it. Everton are the first team to be one of the lowest scorers in the league. I think the lowest scorer, and stay up. So that tells you everything. How they've done it. I think Sean Dyche and his backroom staff have done an incredible job. Long may the changes continue and Everton move up that league. Fingers crossed. And to you, PG, thanks for having me on. Everyone in chat, I really appreciate it. We never get enough time, but
We don't.
that just means we've got to come back on.
You're coming back. Thank you
please
so
have me
much.
back on. You're welcome. You're welcome.
You go and do what you got to do.
See you later,
We're going to
Baz,
stay on with Bazza.
PG. Take care. And
thank you
listen,
so much.
For Forest to stay up as well was incredible.
Yeah.
Fair play to the owner and Steve Cooper and the team. How they done it, they worked it, and they worked out a way out to play and stayed up. And I've still got 3 teams in the Premier League for next season. So I love it. Look after yourself, everybody.
See you, Kev.
Bye.
Thank you, Casey. Love you.
Love you. Bye.
That was the fantastic Kev Campbell. We're going to stay on a few more minutes to talk to Baz because I've got some questions for you if you fancy answering them. Not that you were supposed to be doing all this.
Go on.
Let's go. Phil Macker said, question, Everton seemed like a car crash of a club. Oh, no, we did that one, didn't we? I am sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
We did that one. Carl Stark says, question, Baz, how much would you give for a boring mid-table finish next season?
Oh, God. I pray for the days of 12th. I used to moan my head off. And I can't believe I'm saying it, to be honest. But yeah, next year, just being a boring 12th place would be lovely. Just for 1 year, and then we get better. But yeah, just to not have the stress of worrying with a couple of months ago whether you're going to stay, it would be lovely. So, Carl, pray for us, please. Thank you.
For a boring. And this is interesting. This might get your goat a little bit. Remember, it's an Arsenal podcast.
Go on, it's fine.
Phil, is Baz happy that the dinosaur Dyche is in charge of his beloved toffees? Now, the thing is, we're not a lover of Sean Dyche.
No,
he's not a lover of us. So, what's your opinion on your manager?
Listen, would he have been my choice? No. But he's done all right for us so far. So I think maybe just right now to stabilise us, maybe he's the right man for right now. Don't forget, we've got one more full season at Goodison Park before we move to the new stadium. We need to make sure we move in that new stadium as a Premier League football club. Do I think Everton will be in any danger next season, a full season with Dyche? No, I don't. I think Everton will be a boring mid-table club next season. But like I say, would he have been my choice? No, I'd have chosen someone different. But we'll have to just see. Listen, it's about sometimes, maybe he can change a little bit and be a little bit more progressive than what he's shown. Maybe he won't be. Maybe that's the limit of what he is. But we'll see. Everyone deserves a chance. Evertonians won't put up with it for too long if it isn't it doesn't get better.
No.
But right now, maybe it's exactly what we need, just to get everyone back down to earth. And well, we'll see. We'll see.
Okay, Patrick Carlson, welcome to the show, Patrick. What are your thoughts on leaving Goodison? I've never been. Oh, I hope I can get there next season.
You need to. Well, no, stay away, because you might be a lucky charm and Arsenal might get a result.
I've never been and we don't do well, so maybe I should come up.
There you go. Listen, it's weird because it's an amazing stadium. It's old, don't get me wrong. Obstructive views, wooden, flooring in some of the stand and all of that. But it's one of the old fantastic nostalgic places. I loved Highbury, loved it. And but obviously time changes, doesn't it? And you have to move on, and Everton's time is now. It'll be weird, but when you go down to the new stadium, you see where it's up to. It's unbelievable, the size of it, where it is. So it's going to be incredible. So it'll be sad to leave, and I can't imagine what the final game will be like there, and when that's it. Because obviously, you know what it's like when you go to, well, you've experienced it going to Highbury all those years, and now going the Emirates. So it's not something we've experienced. So it's, on one hand, I'll be obviously very sad, but on the other hand, I can't wait to get somewhere new that might actually kick Everton on as a football club. So,
okay, I'm going to do one more question, then I'm going to end the show because I'm tired tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
The heat
it's warm.
is getting to me.
It's warm.
Oh, Karen Russell. Hello, my lovely. Baz, who would be your choice as manager?
I mean, there's me saying I wouldn't have Sean Dyche and he wouldn't have been my choice. But now you put me on the spot. I don't know is the answer right now, because I don't know the full position of where Everton was. Back in January, I'd have probably gone with someone like Wayne Rooney, who is obviously young, up-and-coming manager, Evertonian. And you want a young manager the way you've got with Mikel Arteta, a young manager, and you want to build together and grow together. But I think Everton's too unstable right now for that. If Graham Potter, I think, would be a good man. I know he's failed at Chelsea. I know it hasn't gone right for him at Chelsea, but I think he's a great manager, or a really good manager. And I think if you took him, and I actually think Everton would be quite a good fit for him in terms of where we are now, having to refocus our goals and start again almost. I think Chelsea was never going to work because he went in and they want everything right now. Where I think with him, you've got to allow things to grow. There's lots of young, exciting managers around. Thomas Tuchel has gone in at Bayern, but I've always loved him. I think he's really good as well. Everton wouldn't have been able to get in this time, but there's been times in the past where we could have got him. So there's lots out there. It's whether you want to gamble on it, isn't it? But
you've got to give Dyche a chance. You really have. He's kept you up. Just kept you up by honestly one goal is just. I still can't. I'm fascinated how you coped. I think I'd have just been ratty and miserable for months.
It never goes away. It never goes away. And even when you're trying to watch things, and with your family or whatever, it's almost there. And you've just got to hope you come through it. But
what was it like? Okay, so but you scored.
Unbelievable noise. The noise was crazy. Honestly, I've never heard anything like it.
The relief must have been extreme. Except
it was mad.
Still had to. What minute did he score?
The 57th minute.
So you had to go from 57 minutes to 90 odd minutes.
Well, 100 minutes. They played 10 minutes stoppage time.
100 minutes. The other games had finished, and they were waiting. Who was it?
Leicester. It was.
Were waiting on you.
If Bournemouth scored, that's it. We're down.
Yes, correct.
And Pickford makes a save in the 94th minute.
I remember.
And you just like hold your breath as it goes goalwards.
So what happened when the final whistle went? Did it hit home, or were you just exhausted?
Just a relief. You know what? Last year was weird because even though we still had a game to go, we knew we were getting hammered at Arsenal. Regardless, we just knew Arteta was going to destroy us. So therefore, we had to win that Palace game. When the whistle went last year, being 2-0 down at half time and winning 3-2, it was tears and everything in your eyes, because it was that, like I said, we dropped into it almost, and it was like, where's this come from? Where I think I'd gone through so many permutations in my head that day, the Bournemouth game. You almost are starting to think about the Championship and thinking, well, if we win 31 games like Burnley, it might be that bad a season. So it was just relief. Honest to God, it was just pure relief. It was just like blow the whistle. And the lad who sits next to me, I looked at my watch when he put the 10 minutes up, and honestly, he said to me, that must be it now. And I looked at my watch, and we played 3 minutes. There was still 7 to go. And I was like, you're messing, there's another 7 minutes. And he was just like, oh my God. But yeah, it was just relief. It was just relief.
I mean, when we won up and it means 3 points, I can't cope. God knows what it means to be relegated. It's massive.
Oh my God.
Anyway,
I wouldn't know, Amanda. I wouldn't know.
No, because you didn't get relegated.
You didn't get relegated, yeah.
You need to make changes this year, that is for sure. But you know what? Look, thank you, Bazza, for joining me for the last 15 minutes. Karen Russell, thanks for answering, Baz. It's not easy. He would have even come on, wouldn't you, Baz, if you were relegated?
Absolutely.
You would have, yeah.
He's a very I've been defending. I was even at the last overlap defending Arsenal when people were calling them bottlers. I was like, they've been amazing all season. They're playing against the machine, and City are. They're brilliant, don't get me wrong, but they're a machine, as proven on Saturday. So the fact that Arsenal have ran them so close this season's been fantastic. I know it's disappointing, and listen, I'd love to have the opportunity to be disappointed about coming second, but you know, it's about moving forward from now. But yeah, I'd have come on regardless.
Oh. So for any Evertonians listening, and some might, we can find you at Toffee TV, can't we?
We can, yeah. Hiding up the way there.
And what's your Twitter handle for anyone of my Arsenal lot that want to follow you? Because he's a good follow.
THC1878.
Yeah, what does it mean?
The Holy Trinity.
Okay.
It was a midfield. It was our thing, a midfield of Kendall, Ball, and Harvey. One of the greatest midfield ever in our history. So it was a thing that was created when I went on Twitter about whatever it was, 13 years ago or something. But yeah, that's what it is. That's it.
Oh, my thanks to you. It's just, I've had the most amazing show with you and Kev. Obviously, Kev had to go. My big thanks to him. My big thanks to Bazza. Guys in the chat room, you've been incredible. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. So Wednesday night, 7:30 is the next show with Chris. He will be hosting Akil Vyas, as I said, and Merv Deneen. It is called, I have to read this because I get it wrong, One In, One Out, One Bangs. And he started it last Wednesday, and it was really interesting. And last Wednesday, we had Johnny Cochran on and Kaya Kayanak. So you really need to subscribe, absolutely, because you're going to miss loads of shows. We are trying to go twice a week. Don't know who's coming on next Sunday or Monday with me, but the week after, we have got the podcast Guns and Yellow Ribbons are coming to talk to me. My mates, Trev and Hilsey. I'd like to thank everybody, honestly, for listening, subscribing. We're on all audio channels, as everybody knows. If you wouldn't mind retweeting us and sharing everything, that would be fantastic. Baz, well done for staying up. Well done for coming on the show. We'll see. I nearly said Highbury. We'll see you at the Emirates next season. And if I meet you, I'll go and show you my picture on the mural.
Let's do it.
Brilliant. Thanks, everyone. All these lovely comments. Oh, yes, Robert, get your dad on PG. There is going to be a family of cousins and my dad, and it's going to be like sitting in the car going to Highbury all those years ago. Thank you for your lovely comments. Good night, everybody. And you know what? Stay safe in this hot, disgusting weather, because I can't wait for it to all be over. Chris will see you Wednesday night. I'll see you next week. Good night from me and Bazza. And even though he's on the show, always Arsenal. Always Arsenal. Good night, everyone.